we are on Earth, and the Earth is just one planet in the galaxy. You can compare that to an ant on the patio in this backyard. The ant doesn't know that there's more than the patio. He just keeps walking. He doesn't know he's just part of lots of worlds. And the human race is sort of like that. After they discovered what's up there, they know they're only a little part of this huge galaxy. I think there probably are many different kinds of cells and organisms. Some may not be visible, some may not have been discovered, and some may be on places we can't go. And they all might have the same perspective as we do on this, that there might be others.
Yeah. Gotta find yourself in this world. Do that, you'll understand yourself better, and you'll understand this world better. Every day is another journey.
Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adepts, my platform to become your spiritual server. This is your weekly astrological forecast for today, Monday the 16th through Sunday the 22nd of April of 2018. Thank you so much for joining me on this video, and let's see how we are going to shift through this week, because this week is certainly a week of a lot of shifting. It's going to be a week of, I'm not going to say there's really any downs this week. I think really this is going to be a week where we really begin to understand and come more into this new knowing of this new person that we're becoming. Since this is the last week of Aries, the sun will be shifting later on this week. So while the sun is at these last few degrees, we really are going to be really fine-tuning this new ego and this new self, this new way of behaving, this new way of being. We're going to be fine-tuning that over the next few days before the sun makes this shift. But before I get into all that, I just wanted to do a couple of quick announcements, just some minor changes that will be happening on the channel. You're still going to get the weekly astrology videos. I did make a new moon video, but I didn't upload it just because it is a little bit after the fact, and I know on the channel all I've made so far are full moon videos, so I was going to make that new moon video and was going to upload it, but I'm actually just not going to upload it, and that's honestly quite okay. The next time we get the next new moon, I will be sure to make a video and upload it. You're still going to get your lunar reports here, but instead of doing sword tarot readings 4 days a week, which was my intention, I'm actually going to take it down to one, and it's going to be a little bit longer of a video, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and this is going to actually cover the entire week. I'm also going to change up the spread that I use. I'm actually going to use a spread called the Flying Bird Spread, which is very applicable, right? Because this is the reading on how you are soaring. So instead of doing that 4 days a week, I'm actually going to take it down to 1 day a week. You're still going to get your taroscopes for all of the signs. So what you're really going to expect to see is the astrology, like the weekly astrology video. You're going to get the one sword tarot reading for the whole week. And then you're also going to get the weekly taroscopes for each of the signs. And my intention outside of that will be to probably do some other type of video. It's either going to be maybe like a transit talk where I talk about a particular transit that's happening in the week a little bit more in depth, or I started doing some series on the channel, or do something fun or creative. I haven't decided just yet, but the ones that you are definitely going to be getting, like I said, the weekly astrology video, the tarot scopes for each of the sign, and your weekly sword tarot reading. I'm doing this mainly because I'm still want to put out a decent amount of content per week, but I think if I kind of condense some of my readings, it's going to allow me space to do other things, to actually conduct some of the outstanding readings that I have with people, and also to get back into writing, because I haven't been writing as much, and I want to reintegrate that back into my routine. But anyways, all of that stuff aside, let's get into the reading. Just looking at the week at a glance, the major days is probably going to be Wednesday and Sunday. And it seems like that's almost been kind of like a theme over the past few weeks, where the major days were like the middle of the week and then right at the end of the week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through every single day and let you know some of the major highlights, and then I'll go back and let you know exactly what is happening. So today on Monday the 16th, not really much is happening. The main thing that happened was that the moon shifted into Taurus, okay? On the 17th, Tuesday, we do have Venus in Taurus opposing Jupiter in Scorpio at 20 degrees. We also have Chiron shifting into Aries. That's major, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Venus is also going to trine Pluto on Tuesday. And we have Saturn retrograde at 9 degrees. And we have the moon coming on top of Venus, conjunct it. So actually, I will also say that Tuesday is probably a really big day as well. On Wednesday the 18th, the major thing that we have is that we have the Sun conjuncting Uranus. It does this once a year. It's going to be conjunct at 28 degrees of Aries. I'm going to go a little bit in depth with that one just because I think it's really interesting looking at how this conjunction was last year and comparing it to this year. All right. On Thursday the 19th, we do have the Sun entering Taurus, so it's going to be a new cycle, a new zodiac sign. Happy birthday, Taurus. That's going to be on the 19th. And then on 420 Blaze It, this is really just going to be the moon making aspects. It's going to sextile Uranus, it's going to square Chiron, and it's going to sextile the Sun as well on the 20th. On the 21st, the moon continues to make its aspects. This time it's going to be opposing all of the energies in Capricorn because it'll be going throughout Cancer, okay? And then on the 22nd, on Sunday, we do have Pluto, which is going to be stationing retrograde at 21 degrees, and the moon is going to shift into Leo to end off the week. So, just like I said, let's just go day by day and just kind of talk about what's happening. Well, today, the 16th, we have the moon shifting into Taurus. The moon likes to be in Taurus. The moon is exalted in Taurus. So when the moon goes into the spot, we might be feeling this need to kind of relax a bit more, kind of put up our feet a bit. Because, you know, going through all the stuff that we're just coming off this new moon, right? So there was a lot of intensity and a lot of energy, a lot of fiery energy that was in the atmosphere. And it still is here. But now that the moon is shifting into Taurus, we're looking to try and ground some of this creativity. We're looking to kind of ground some of this fire and passion that the moon revealed to us while it was in Aries. So, you know, the Monday is going to be kind of an interesting chill day. It's kind of like an interesting chill day in the midst of all of this intense energy because there's still a lot of intense energy. But the moon in Taurus today is going to be asking you to kind of ground things a little bit more. It's going to ask you to kind of, you know, look, of course, where your self-value is and where your self-worth is. But kind of also maybe take a bit of a chill pill today. Take it a little bit easy today. You're still probably going to want to try and get things done and to get a lot of work done. But also make sure you take time today to really kind of relax. Give yourself some time. I know me personally, it's 4:03 p.m. Eastern time, and this is the first video I've made today. I took my notes for like this video earlier, and I was doing some studying and stuff. But normally I like to make my videos in the morning and stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, but like, you know, my grandmother who recently passed, she was telling me, like, oh, you need to clean that kitchen before you do anything. So I had to clean the kitchen and stuff this morning, and then, you know, eventually, you know, I ate, and then like I took a nap. Like I took like an almost hour and a half long nap in the middle of the day. And I think it's just because like a lot of the energies from like the weekend just kind of caught up, and then last night I was just kind of having this weird breakthrough with the new moon, trying to figure out all my stuff, trying to figure out how to organize, you know, my channel, all my projects and all this stuff. I'm just like, trying to figure it all out. So I think today, I definitely felt that moon shift into Taurus, especially since for me, Taurus is my 6th house. So it's really like, you know, me establishing a routine and stuff like that. It takes me a while to try and nail one down. That's why I've kind of shifted things around a bit. But the one thing I want to make sure I do is be consistent. So, and this is really a week where I believe it is about being consistent. In fact, I believe that is really the theme of this week. That I feel like the theme of this week is really step by step creates big monumental change. That's really what I would like to say. Because, you know, while we had all these energies in Aries, it was asking for really just intense and quick changes because that was just where the energy was. You know, the Sun was here, Mercury was here, Venus was here, you know, Uranus is still here. So it's like we have been feeling this need to try and act and get things done, and it's been a little bit of impulsive, but We also have the energies in Capricorn tugging on this. You know, we've had Mars in Capricorn, we have Pluto here, we have Saturn here tugging on all of this energy, and it's kind of almost like we're trying to run, right? But we have like this umbrella, or not umbrella, like the parachute, you know, I think that's like used in like, strength training, stuff like that, where you run, but then you have like this parachute behind you, so it kind of holds you back a bit. So that's kind of what this is, and the moon shifting into Taurus is another like addition to this parachute. It's like, okay, hold on, we know that you want to go places and stuff, but slow things down, feel things through, make sure that you feel good, make sure that you feel great, you know, make sure that, you know, make sure you take care of your body and stuff like that, make sure you relax a little bit. So it's really kind of what Monday is, kind of kick off the week. Because we all definitely want to soar, right? I am soaring, I am flying, I am being everything I can be on this day and the next. And we all certainly are wanting to do that, but we still need to make sure and just test everything out to make sure that we are going to soar as high as we can. On Tuesday the 17th, we have a lot happening. We have Venus, which is in Taurus, opposing Jupiter to Scorpio at 20 degrees. This here is literally what turns you on. Like, and I'm a Scorpio, so I'm not going to freaking sugarcoat this. What turns you on? That's exactly what Jupiter and Scorpio is. Jupiter, you know, it made its way all the way up to 23 degrees of Scorpio before it retrograded, right? And now that it's coming back, we're kind of going over this review period of these deep desires and these deep passions that we want. And Jupiter here is wanting to expand this. But now that Jupiter is going retrograde, it's asking us to review all of this expansion that we have come into knowledge, all of these treasures that were hidden in the dark in Scorpio. Now Jupiter here is wanting to illuminate them and blow them up and be like, okay, you can have this, you can have this, you can have this. But Venus's Taurus is asking us, while Venus loves to be in Taurus, it's asking us, is it really of self-value? Does it really make us feel our own self-worth? You know, does it really, and it's going to sound interesting, does it really give us this sense of comfort? You know, because Venus in Taurus is definitely about comfort and the luxuries. But it really is about what we really allow ourselves to receive. So when it's in Taurus, it's talking about receiving the finer things in life. And this is different for every single person. The finer things in life, for me, can be different than the finer things in life for you. So perhaps the finer things in life for you is waking up with a bunch of grapes in your mouth, as Ralph Smart would say. Or it could be, I don't know, treating yourself to a chocolate pie every now and again when you do something good. But it means something different to us. But really, this opposition at 20 degrees, what's really is saying is like, what turns you on? What is it that turns you on? And what desires, what deep passions is it that turns you on and gets you going, gets you flowing, and gets you just want to get into that mood? And I know that might sound crazy a little bit. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because that's really what this opposition is really asking us. It's like great fortunes can be there to be had. Great things can be uncovered, and that's what Jupiter wants to expose. And you can really begin to feel that self-worth and that self-value. But it has to resonate with you. It has to really get you going. It has to want you to kind of get into the sheets a bit, you know what I'm saying, with that passion, with that desire. So that's really how Tuesday starts off. Next, we also have Chiron shifting into Aries. This is huge because the last time Chiron at least made this shift into Aries was about 50 years ago. I don't know the exact dates. But Chiron is that area in our chart where we have these deep wounds and these deep traumas. And I like to think of it as doors that we opened up in the past that hurt us. And when we approach these doors, or doors that look similar, we become apprehensive. We have almost like this post-traumatic stress because the glyph for Chiron is the key. So it's like we open these doors and these things didn't really work out for us in the past. And now we come across situations that remind us of this past. And it also reminds us of when we might have went a little too far in the past, in past lives. This is also indicated by where it is in your birth chart. So Chiron shifting into Aries means that as the collective, we are shifting from healing our spiritual story and healing our connection to spirit to healing our connection with ourself. Right? That's huge. It's kind of interesting how you have this alpha and omega energy, how we're going from the omega to, the totality of everything and source and the universe and connection to spirit to healing our connection to ourself. Because that's really what Aries is. It's about the self. It's about the ego. It's about the personality. It's about the way that we behave. So Chiron shifting into this spot means that, now that we have healed our connection to spirit and stuff, now it's time to really focus on ourselves. I think it's going to be interesting because, Chiron is going to retrograde back into Pisces later on this year, but we really need this shift right now because, with all those energies that just went through Aries, and so we still have Venus, we still have Mercury here, we still have the Sun here just for a few more days, and Uranus is still here, but it's just really interesting that now it's like we're really going to be able to heal who we are. Is really, I think what's going to happen is, as a collective, because you got to think about the last time I was here, it was about 50 years ago. So you got to think, it's 2018. So, you're talking what, I guess what's like the 60s and 70s or something like that. I got to do the exact math. So, but, now we're going to be shifting from, okay, who are we now in 2018? Are we still the same people that we were 50 years ago? Maybe in some ways, but I think things have shifted. I think things are changing. I believe that you can really feel it. So I think what's going to happen with this Chiron and Aries is now we're going to stop actually over-identifying with a lot of these labels. Like, we're going to stop over-identifying with, I hope, that we stop over-identifying with, I'm black, you're white, I have this job, I have this thing, I am this, I am that. I think we're going to stop identifying with these labels because these are just personas that we play. These aren't necessarily who we are because really, I am. And that's it. Like, I am that I am in this moment. And I really believe that that's really going to be kind of the theme of this Chiron shifting into Aries. Whereas before, it was about us expressing more of who we were because so many different things were suppressed at that time, the last time Chiron was here. But now that, at least perceivably, in some parts of the world, it's not as easy to express yourself. And here, in the Western world, in America, we do have the benefit of expressing ourselves, but not everyone, even though we have the freedom to express who we are, not everyone is necessarily on board with it. But we can at least say that compared to 50 years ago, it's a lot easier. Now we also have the internet, and I can just hop on here and make a video. That wasn't a thing 50 years ago. So Chiron shifting in the Aries is really going to bring up, in many ways, really self-esteem issues, and we're really going to begin to figure out who we are. We're going to begin to start healing that. And we're also going to learn to forgive ourselves. Forgiveness is going to be very, very key with Chiron shifting into Aries, all right? We also have Venus trining Pluto. So this is really good because just, coming off of the opposition of Jupiter and Scorpio, is actually going to be trining the ruler of Scorpio, which is Pluto. Pluto has been breaking down and transforming our traditional structures and the way that we kind of view society. And it's kind of interesting how, we do have this Chiron shifting into Aries, so it's really going to be starting to focus our healing on the person, the individual person, but then Venus, which is our receptive energy, and really how we retract things, it's going to trine Pluto, which is talking about the society at large. So it's like, Venus is like, okay, we really can create this beautiful world, but we really need to see how we can harmonize this energy with changing our social structures, because that's what Pluto is doing. Pluto is wrecking our social, I really have to think of Pluto right now. It's the Phoenix rising, but really going through Capricorn, going through sturdy Capricorn, it is literally like a wrecking ball, just going like bam, bam, and people are searching through the debris trying to figure out if any of the things that they have held on to, any of these traditions, if they hold merit and if they hold value. And that's what Venus from Pluto is that we are going to find some merit and value in these things, but I believe what you're going to find, the merit and value with this transit, is really the people. Not necessarily the things, but the people and the core essence of who people are, okay? We also have Saturn stationing retrograde on Tuesday, so that's huge. The planet of hard decisions, of contractions, of really the hard work and effort it takes to get things done is going retrograde. So this is interesting because it's really going to be able to test, okay, who is about this work? Who is really about it? And who's about the spiritual work? Who's about getting things done? Because when Saturn goes retrograde, Saturn's not going to be really holding our hand anymore. Saturn doesn't really hold our hand anyways. It really just kind of pushes us out to the nest. But when Saturn goes retrograde, it's really going to be like, okay, I'm not going to hold your hand anymore. But, you know, it's almost like if you really are about this work and you take things step by step, day by day, and you put in the hard work, you put in the effort to achieve things, you are really going to see monumental change while Saturn is retrograde. It's going to be retrograde for about, what, 5 months or so? So you're going to see huge, massive changes just based off of the merit of your hard work. That's going to be Saturn retrograde. This is also going to be the day where, at the end of the day, Moon is going to actually conjunct Venus. So after we go through all of this energy, after Venus opposes Scorpio, after the Chiron shift, after Venus trining Pluto and Saturn retrograde, our Moon and our emotions, which are probably Tuesday, they're probably going to be this weird thing of like kind of going like it's weird, and then it kind of goes down a bit because it's going to get a little sensitive, and then it kind of goes back up, but then Saturn retrograde happens, and then we're like, okay, crap, I really do have to put in the hard work now. But then the Moon conjuncting Venus is really about you can do it. You can do it. Really what I see the 17th as is almost kind of like an outlook almost of the next 5 months, and it's showing you really that you really can have these deep passions and these deep desires come true, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that it's already inherently yours. You have to believe that you are already inherently abundant, and you have to believe that you are worth it. You have to believe in yourself that you actually can put in the hard work to do it. And the Moon conjuncting Venus is really that confirmation from your feelings that it is possible that you can actually receive this beautiful life that you are trying to create for yourself, where you are acting in accordance with your new self, with these new behaviors and this new higher reality that you're trying to integrate and shift in. And since the Moon's going to be in Taurus, it's a very grounding energy. So we are grounding this awareness that we actually can have a fulfilling, interesting, creative, beautiful life that is really transformative, that is different than anything that we have lived over the past year or two, or since the whole 2012 shift anyways, that you really can create this real, true, lasting change. On Wednesday the 18th, we have Sun conjuncting Uranus at 28 degrees. This is we get this aspect once a year, and I like to think of it as a major quantum download, because Uranus is ruled by Aquarius, so that's the water bearer. It's the sign of information, right? It's so you're going to be receiving probably just lots of downloads on Wednesday. It's going to be, probably by the time it gets about midday, what'll probably happen is you'll get a lot of downloads in the morning, and then it kind of goes up a bit. And they're like, whoa, you'll get probably one major epiphany, right? And then it goes down. But then by the end of the night, it's going to shoot back up. And you're going to if you kind of take Tuesday proper, you'll be like, whoa, look at all of this information that I've downloaded. Uranus is also the planet of the internet. So Wednesday might be an interesting day to be on the internet and stuff like that. You might see some interesting, weird stuff. I don't know, maybe a new meme will be born that day. I know for me, I'm probably going to try and avoid the internet on Wednesday as much as I can, because for some reason I noticed that the days, or at least social media, the days where I don't get on Facebook that much are some of my most peaceful days. So that's what I'm really aiming for personally on the 18th, is to have a peaceful day. Especially with Uranus and Aries, this is really talking about how do we revolutionize ourselves, how do we revolutionize who we are. We have to consider the fact that the next time that Uranus conjuncts that the Sun conjuncts Uranus, it's going to be in Taurus. So this is really going to be the last conjunction, at least for a while, that we have where these two energies are in Aries. It's going to shift from the person and our ego to our value system and our self-worth and how we earn money and earned income sector. It's going to shift from that. So it's really going to be interesting. Like I said, it's going to be a quantum download. It's pretty much like electric, like thunderbolts. You'll probably wake up in the morning and then you'll probably feel like the zap, and you'll be like, oh crap, Pokemon really are real, because I had a dream last night where Pikachu pretty much told me so, and then lo and behold, you wake up and you find a mouse in your apartment. And it might not shock you, it might not, send a thunderbolt out at you, but it'll probably look at you, wink at you, and then it'll crawl back in its hole. And then you'll probably wonder yourself, damn, do I really want to get rid of this mouse? It's cute. I have no idea where that came from. As someone who has owned pet rats, I had 2 fancy rats several years back. They actually did make really cool pets. But anyways, that aside, Wednesday the 18th is actually going to be a very interesting day just because we are going to receive this really big quantum download. And just to kind of frame this, because like I said, we get this every single year, just to kind of frame this, last year, the Sun and Uranus conjuncted at 24 degrees. This was on April 14th. 2017, I was at 1259, and some of the other transits that were surrounding this were just very interesting. The North Node was in Virgo at 1 degrees, and it was just about to shift into Leo. So that was talking about the attention wasn't really on our heart and our passion. It was really on, although shifting into that, it was really on our day-to-day reality and routine and work and kind of like the service that we give to others. Now it's like shifting towards like, okay, what about your heart? So this is going to be a really powerful quantum download because the North Node is in Leo. But last year, the North Node was at 1 degree of Virgo, and Venus was stationing direct. So Venus right now is going forward. So it's interesting because and also it was conjunct. Let's see what is Venus was stationing direct, conjunct Chiron and Pisces at 26 degrees. So that was really us opening up to like this final push and healing of our spiritual connection and our spiritual nature, because like I said, now but during this one, Chiron's going to be in Aries during this quantum download. So last year the quantum download that we received was and we really can heal ourselves and stuff, but we really have to first open up the door to the healing of our connection to spirit. We also have to consider that Saturn was retrograde at the galactic center point the last time that the Sun conjuncted Uranus. So that was even talking about major, like the galactic center point is like pretty much like destiny, just like it's the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and it's in Sagittarius at 26 degrees. So the fact that Saturn was retrograde on top of this was really like we really had to kind of like backtrack and go back into like our own destiny and trying to figure out, all right, what is good for not only planet Earth, but for the whole galaxy. So it was huge, the last quantum download that we received. It was really like this final push, like, okay, we know that you want to work on yourself. We know that you want to really heal your ego. But before we get to that, we got to make sure that we take care of everyone else. We got to make sure that we take care of the galaxy. We got to make sure we take care of your connection to spirit, because once we take care of your connection to spirit, you'll be able to receive better downloads, and it'll be a little bit more fluid. It'll be a little bit more, the connection will be better, because like I said, this quantum download had to happen. So it's interesting, just we go from that to this one, where essentially, Venus is going to be in Taurus. We have the North Node, which is going to be in Leo, and Saturn, which is in Capricorn. So it's telling us, it's like, yeah, you definitely can achieve this life that you want to set up for yourself, that is higher vibrational, that really allows you to live your passions every day. And really, I liken it to being like you are the poet. As someone who likes to write poetry, I know that ultimately I want to be like walking poetry. And it's not necessarily about trying to rhyme things. It's not necessarily about the style, but it's like we shift and morph and everything. Like we shift and morph and we become every day. And I think instead of really focusing so much on the end goal, we really need to focus on taking it step by step. And by taking the necessary steps day by day, we will build monumental change. So that's really what we're going to be downloading on Wednesday. Not only that, but the moon is going to enter Gemini on this day as well. So, even more so, it's about establishing that connection to spirit. And even though it is Gemini, it's like our minds are going to begin to open up more to what we have been feeling over the past few days. On Thursday, we have the sun entering Taurus at 11:12 p.m. and that's Eastern time. Happy birthday, Taurus. So now we're going to be shifting our awareness from the ego and the personality to what we can attract. All right, we're going to shift it to our self-worth and our self-value. We're going to begin to ground these new behaviors, and we're going to first start to see the first manifestations of this new self that we are manifesting. We're going to see the proliferation. It's almost kind of like we planted the seeds with this new moon, and then when the sun enters Taurus, and while it's going to make its transit through Taurus, we're going to start to see the saplings come out. And then it'll bloom and flower and blossom. And should be very beautiful if you really take the necessary steps, the necessary actions, cut away things from your life that no longer serve you, that no longer of high value, but don't necessarily reject them in such a terrible way, but almost be like, embrace them in a sense of like, thank you for the value that you gave me while you were with me, but now I have to let you go because I'm trying to get to this next level. I'm trying to get to this next stage. And really, it is about our ego. And I feel like a lot of us have abandoned our ego because we've been taught that the ego is bad. And that's not true. An unhealthy ego is quote unquote bad, but a healthy ego is actually good. It helps you to get things done. It saves your ass when you're in trouble. Like, we have to understand how we have evolved over the past thousands and thousands and thousands of years, where, yeah, we have now created the society for the most part where it is safe and secure. So the ego has to figure out some way to work, whereas before it was helping us to run away from bears and wolves. Now it's helping us to run away from speaking in front of crowds. But what if that's what your job entails? Now it helps us to run away from asking that hot person out. But what if that's really what you want? So you see, it's not so much that the ego is bad, it's that it had to shift its focus. And now we have to recalibrate that ego to kind of the current reality. And we can have and develop a healthy ego that allows us to really soar and fly higher. On Friday the 20th, on 420 Blaze It, we have the moon in Gemini sextiling Uranus. So this is going to be really this first time that we kind of get this communication, because what is Gemini? It's the mind. It's the mind. It's communication. It's ruled by Mercury. So it's going to be sextiling Uranus, which means that all that quantum download that we received from the Sun-Uranus conjunction is really going to be more apparent on Friday. We also have the moon, which is going to go into Cancer that day. It's also going to square Chiron in Aries. So while we get the quantum download and we begin to understand it more as we have slept on it through Wednesday night, and so as we went through the conjunction on Wednesday, we slept on it Wednesday night, and then we went through Thursday. The moon in Cancer squaring Chiron is going to be asking us, all right, so yeah, you do have, it's going to be like this first initial kind of waking up and feeling into the wounds of our own self, our own personality, and our own ego. And it's really going to be asking us to heal this spot, because this the moon in Cancer, the moon likes to be here, it's its natural spot. So we really have to show compassion for ourselves this day. And the moon in Cancer is also going to be sextiling the sun in Taurus. So it's interesting how we have a square kind of between these two sextiles, that the moon is going to be making these aspects. So it's really going to be about, Friday is a day about showing compassion for ourselves and really kind of, believing in ourselves that we really can do this, and we really can create this life. It might be a little uncomfortable, like I said, because the moon, which is already it's the planet of emotion and stuff, right? The subconscious and past lives. And squaring Chiron and Aries, this might even, maybe some past life things might even come up. Past lives within this life, past ways of you being. You might look back on Friday and be like, dang, I did some really stupid stuff, last year. I did some really stupid stuff like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I did some really stupid stuff last week, But show compassion for yourself, because really, you are a continually morphing and evolving spiritual being, and at your core essence, you already are everything. But you are morphing, you're evolving, you're not perfect. You don't have to have the whole picture right now. You don't have to complete the whole picture right now. Just kind of have compassion for yourself and take it step by step and day by day. All right. On Saturday, the 21st, we also have the moon making all the most of the aspects. The moon in Cancer is going to be opposing Saturn retrograde at the beginning of the day at 9 degrees. Then it'll oppose Mars in the middle of the day at 19 degrees. And then it'll oppose Pluto at 21 degrees, which is about to go retrograde. This is going to be the first moon opposed Saturn retrograde, so that's going to be interesting. So now we're really going to be feeling, oh man, do I really got to do this work? Do I really have to? We're going to be kind of, Saturday might be kind of the day where we might have this tendency to want to whine. But then once the moon opposes Mars, it's kind of like, okay, well, we really can move forward. We really have to act and get this thing done. It's going to kind of give us a little bit more of a boost from when it opposed Saturn retrograde. But then the moon's going to oppose Pluto. So it's going to be like, okay, you really can't move forward, but you have to understand that things are changing. And we have to be okay with the change. We have to be okay with this transformation, because ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be better for everybody that we really change, because we have to, the world's not going to change until we change. So I really think that's mainly what the Chiron shifting the Aries thing is that we have to learn how to heal ourselves and learn how to change, because that's really the only way we're going to move forward, is if we actually heal these deep wounds within ourselves. But this is really going to be like this week is really like the first step to where everyone, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, is really going to begin doing the internal work, so we can create a better society that is just, more conducive for everyone's abundance, where we have no homeless people and we treat the animals correctly and we clean up our planet. This is really that first week where we feel this major shift in the direction of healing the planet. And it might get worse before it gets better, because that's sometimes how medicine works. But, we have to go through it, and it's going to be okay. I believe that we are all in this together, and so long as there's one flame flickering, so long as there's one candle lit, and believe me, there are many candles that are lit, but so long as there's one candle lit, hope is not lost. And everyone has that fire within them, okay? That's really what all these energies in Aries was showing us, that we really do have this fire within us, but we want to make sure that we're not just burning everything in our path. We want to make sure that it's more of a creative fire and not a out of whack, completely destructive fire. And not that destructive fires aren't bad. We want to make sure that we kind of contain this fire and not just set everything completely ablaze, because that's really how growth comes. It's like you have to destroy things to make way for new things. But we want to make sure that it's not catastrophic in the sense that we literally just burn down our world and burn down our society, right? I'm just being real with you. But this is really, I feel like this week is really going to be this first major shift to where we really begin to consider, how do I heal myself so I can heal this beautiful planet that I'm on and that I inhabit with all these amazing creatures and all these amazing souls. Sunday the 22nd, we have our second planet going retrograde. This time it's Pluto going retrograde at 21 degrees. And once again, this is really kind of cementing that, like, oh, things do need to change and transform. But when Pluto goes retrograde, now it's really going to be up to us to make the change in our life. It's going to be really up to us to change the way that we go after our desires, change the way that we create our legacy for ourselves, because it is career legacy. But it's really going to be like, all right, you've climbed the mountain that way before, and it might have helped you out, but we have to find a new way to climb this mountain. And this is really a mountain that we're all climbing together. It's a mountain that we climb by ourselves, but we also when we work on ourselves and we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the entire collective. So that's really what this is about. It's like, okay, Pluto stationing retrograde in Capricorn is really, for me, this is my second house, so it's about self-worth and value for me. But really, this is about when you raise your vibration and you really have the awareness and take the actionable steps to climb this mountain in a new way. Everyone's going to be able to climb this mountain in a new way. And we're going to actually bring the abundance of our society up. We're going to just bring it more and more up. And that's really where we want to go, right? The moon also shifts into Leo on Sunday. So it even brings it more in a home about the way that you transform is by coming into your heart. The way that you transform is by expressing what's in your heart. The way that you transform is by radiating love and loving yourself unconditionally. That's the only way that we're going to really fix this shit. And I don't really think, I mean, and you have to be real, you know, we have these wars that still go on. We're still throwing shit at each other, but at least we're kind of throwing nicer shit at each other. But I don't think we have to be throwing shit at each other anymore. I really think that we really can start throwing love at each other, you know? And everything is love. Love is the only thing that exists. But maybe instead of throwing our shit at each other, and even if it's nicer shit, maybe we can start just being creative with each other, you know, and just start radiating that love. So the moon shifting into Leo really kind of cements out this week, whereas at the beginning it was in Taurus, and then by the end of it, it'll be in Leo, calling us back into our heart and calling us back into, okay, how can I creatively express myself, and how can I really shine that light and be a beacon, not only for myself, but for other people. All right, so yeah, that is really the week, and I'm going to just draw a couple of cards, just really for the general collective. And like I said, this is going to be a week where you really want to take it step by step, because we do have some major intense transits that are happening this week. It's going to be a little sensitive at times, and there are going to be times where you really just want to go. But at the same time, I believe it's definitely going to be a week of major internal change and hints at the major external change that will come from it. So it's interesting. The attention card just kind of flew out. Exhaustion. This is actually kind of perfect. Let's go ahead and get the other cards out just to kind of reveal what exactly is happening here. But just from pulling this card, this is the Knight of Wands. This is literally saying we are exhausted upholding our old way of being. We are exhausted at upholding our old actions and this old ego. It's time to step into something new, because we can clearly see that the society that we have created based off of these old egos is just busting at the seams, and it just doesn't work anymore. We were exhausted, so now it's time to just release and let it go. That was the new moon. It was the setting the seeds for a new, and also simultaneously just kind of releasing these old things that just don't work for us anymore. So we really need to find what is a true value to us. And when we find what is a true value to us, to the core of who we are, then we really will begin to see that healing within ourselves and the healing within the world. The color card, oh, look at that, is, all right, yep. The color card we have is actually apricot, which is beautiful. Rejoice and laugh. So he doesn't really look like he wants to rejoice and laugh. That's because he's trying to uphold this old machine that doesn't work anymore. Saturn is going to be going retrograde soon. Pluto's going to be going retrograde soon. So really, it's not really about upholding this old regime, but we can rejoice and laugh in for all the good times that it gave us, because it gave us some great things. But now it's time to rejoice and laugh in the fact that we can create something new and more positive and uplifting, not only for ourselves, but the entire collective. So this is really us learning how to rejoice in life, rejoice in the everyday life, and learn to laugh again, because we probably haven't really been feeling this want to laugh, or this need to laugh. But now it's like we have to learn how to laugh again. We have to learn how to enjoy life again, rejoice. Like, damn it, we are here, and oh my goodness, like, we are really powerful. We can do amazing things, and we can really shift this world, and it can look like whatever we want to look like. People like to think that the world has to look a certain way, or that things are always just going to be the same way. No, it's only that way if you believe it has to be that way. But obviously, I think we all can see is that we were exhausted from upholding this old regime. It's time to come into something new. It's time to rejoice and revamp and then laugh. The animal messenger card we actually have is the owl this week. Seek out deeper knowledge to see through deception. And I think really that is really kind of on point, is that, and this knowledge is definitely going to come via this Sun conjunct Uranus with these quantum downloads, but we have to be able to look past all of this giant personality, because while we each have a personality, we have to understand that whole societies have personalities, whole countries have personalities. we have to look. It's kind of interesting. I'm thinking about like on Reddit, there's like this subreddit called like Poland Ball, whatever like that, and it literally like almost gives like each of like the countries like different like attitudes and personalities, and we can even look out the world and be like, yeah, the USA has kind of like its own personality, Canada has like its own personality, Australia has like its own personality, Japan has like its own personality, and we do kind of make this over like generalization of the different personalities of this world, but really it's like, do we really want these generalizations to really be upheld? Or do we want to create something that's going to be more fulfilling, that's more conducive for a truly abundant world? But we have to be able to see past all the deception. We have to be able to see past all of this crap and this old machine that is breaking down that we believe we have to stay a part of and uphold. We have to be able to see past all this and realize that we're all just kind of feel like hamsters running on this wheel, and this wheel is providing electricity to this old machine that can't even run anymore. It's just like trudging. So why are we running on this hamster wheel, just spinning really, really, really fast to uphold something that's not even running? Like we have to transfer this energy to get to a better spot. And yeah, you know, sometimes you do have to crawl, but I mean, dang, like we really do have to. Sorry, I was just like channeling, but we really do have to learn to just kind of pause, take a breather, accept ourselves for who we are in this moment, embrace who we are, and just also learn how to move forward and make the lasting changes in our life that we know is for our own good, that we know is for our best self, and rejoice in that. Rejoice in that we actually have the ability to change. Rejoice in the fact that we actually have this awareness. Rejoice in the fact that even if you feel like you have made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, you have thought about those good decisions. You are able to at least tap into the frequency of those good decisions. Even if you continue to make bad decisions, you have tapped and thought about those good decisions. So the fact that you can even do that means that it is yours, means that you can do it. And, you know, it will be okay. You will be okay. I feel like this is a week where we all will have the ability to soar. We all will really be able to feel more into our inherent abundance and really seek that deeper knowledge. But this is really about seeing past this old contraption that we have created that we know is crashing, we know it's falling, but instead of crying over it collapsing, just rejoice and laugh and like, well, that was nice while it lasted. Let's create something new. And then while we're building this thing, we can laugh and have fun and eat amazing food, and shoot, maybe the animals will finally start talking to us. But I guess they are, right? Anyways, that is your weekly astrological forecast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to stay tuned because I will be posting the weekly soar video soon after this one. And check out my other content. Be on the lookout for my weekly taroscopes, which should be up on Wednesday. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, what I can do is I will go through your natal chart and I'll let you know kind of how you click, how you tick, and I will reveal to you your superpowers. Because I really think that's what it is. I want to empower people and show people the superpowers that they already have. If you would like a personal reading with me, you can follow the link in the description below to the Aquarian Adepts. I would love to have you over there. And of course, remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, always remember to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and ding, yahoo! Smile often.